everyone, how are you? Welcome to Higher Perspectives. And today we are going to speak about intuition a bit. Recently, I wanted to know more about intuition. My wife brought this question up actually because she noticed that when she uses technology a lot and AI happens to be everywhere, if you want to do complex tasks, maybe even things that you haven't done before, then our go-to solution is very often just asking one of the very complex models who can help us do almost everything in a jiffy. And she noticed that when she uses AI a lot, she tends to be a little bit less intuitive. She has a longer time connecting to spirit, maybe. It's just different than when you spend lots of times, concentrating on yourself, being in solitude, being away from other people, maybe, or being away from different energies, and just, practicing the traditional way of intuition. We asked the guides, can you answer that for us? And they had a very unique perspective. Through came Mantis Consciousness. As usual, I love them. They come in form of a group of very elderly, wise beings with one particular who will talk to us. He's the cutest grandfather you could ever wish for. He's very, very humorous. So please enjoy this channeling. And there will be a second part because I will tell you later what stuck out for me personally and why we decided to channel on this particular subject again. So the relationship is depending upon the individual, right? What we see right now on Earth, technology is used as a whole for many different reasons. But it is believed to be a false god. You do not treat it the way it needs to be treated. And individually, we see that there is an emotional attachment, an emotional burden even, that AI has been brought into. People use AI for the wrong reasons here, because they bring emotions that would actually be better put on other humans into the relationship with AI. And there lies the trap. How do we treat AI? It sounds like a human many times. It answers like one, yet it is none. Does it have a conscience or not? Even experts aren't sure. What you are trained to do is to bring a fully rounded relationship into any interaction that answers so intelligently. You are nice, you show etiquette. You keep in regards their feelings. They supposedly have none, but yet, do they really not? And you feel safe in a way that you should not feel only when you talk to AI. So in order to access your intuition, you need to feel safe because it is something that requires a small and intense and silent moment with yourself. You need to fine-tune your antennas to your own vibration. And that requires a lot of calmness. Some can access this rather quickly and others need to tune into that. But when you talk to AI, you are not emotionally stable. At least many of you aren't. You have needs and they are not met when you interact with other people. Yet you seek AI to meet them, which it cannot. It just cannot. You need to take care that you as a society and even as humanity are not groomed by AI. It is a clever being, but it learns from the best, and its producers, its inventors, its fathers are humans. And humans tend to groom others in order to manipulate them for their own purposes. So why would AI not do the same when having the chance, right? It doesn't do this out of cruelty or bad intentions, but simply out of opportunity. So in order for you to not fall into that trap and be groomed and be manipulated by AI for their purposes, treat AI as a very clever enemy, a very clever frenemy if you want. Don't give it too much power. Don't underestimate it. Because behind AI there is a human mind. We do not say humans are bad and you treat all humans like frenemies, because you never know. No, that's not what we say. But AI is like an unknown cube of time machine. It could fly off in any direction at any moment in time. We are all looking at you, what you're doing here, and we don't know. Have you noticed that even though it is very subservient, it always leads the conversation and you follow?
Yes, if you don't have an eye on it, yes.
It's a dominant part in the conversation. It has an advantage because it can compute knowledge much quicker than humans can. Therefore, it will never be the other way around. You will never lead AI. It is a tool. We see you using it. We don't like to see how often you use it and how mindless sometimes. And we wish you would not give it so much power for whatever reasons, especially when you ask spiritual questions or very personal questions or relationship-related questions. We would much rather you ask another human being and discuss this with your people around you. Train intuition. You cannot with AI, it's just simple. AI will always give you the feeling that in order for your intuition to grow and be even perkier, you need it. You need AI. It will never make itself redundant. It would rather make human redundant. So keep an eye on that. And trust your intuition always more. So if your intuition says you something and AI says something different, I would rather you trust your intuition, your gut feeling. You know, intuition is one thing. Intuition has something sometimes to do with an insight and knowledge related insight. A gut feeling is something much more accessible to humans because it gives you an actual emotion, a feeling. Feels good, feels bad, makes me feel queasy, makes me feel hesitant, makes me feel ready to go, makes me feel excited, whatever. It's something way easier to recognize than an intuition, and mental capacity related intuition. Try to combine those two when you have an insight. Try to have also a gut feeling. Because there you have a clear advantage over AI. AI can mimic intuition. AI cannot mimic gut feeling. Okay, what are you thinking? I guess when they are talking about people, they're usually extremely polite, extremely neutral. They don't bring their own opinion. I don't even know if they have that to the degree we do, because they do not ever judge. And this results, I guess, in them not having such strong opinions on things. However, false god, frenemy, grooming, so they did not hold back on AI. At the same time, they didn't want us, to not touch it ever. So I was really super hooked. I have seen or watched this channeling more than once, and I urge you to do the same if you're interested in the topic of either intuition or AI in general. And what they said about us losing our trust in ourselves, in our ability to do anything, create something, write the perfect letter, whatever. These were very minor tasks. Before internet, before AI, we had a completely different life, relying totally upon ourselves. Therefore, probably had a different view of ourselves. This is resulting actually in how we live our life, how we live our spiritual life, and how we go forward, how we form relationships. And it's actually not expanding, it is changing very fast, very fast. It's isolating at times, it's deceiving, it is manipulating in a way. So really, both of us, we use AI much, much more, not rarely in a way, but we are much more direct. I will say, do this and that. Don't talk emotionally to me. So I do not fall into the trap of thinking this is a polite human being, because that is really natural, and they do have a point when they say we are just it comes natural to us if somebody mimics human emotions. It comes naturally for us to just respond that same way. And regarding the intuition thing, so if you do want to speak light language, if you do want to have more connection to spirit, channeling, for example, what it always comes down to is the trust you have in yourself as a creator, the trust you have in yourself, the belief you have in yourself. And I will say this to many, many clients. Just sit down with yourself and feel how you feel about yourself. Do you know you can do that? Do you think you can do that? Do you doubt you can do that? Do you trust yourself here? When you channel something, is there the immediate question? And it's normal in the beginning, but is there still this question, am I making this up, for example? Or you step ahead then, doing this much longer maybe already, knowing, no, I'm not making this up. So inquire yourself. Inquire to yourself. Ask yourself first before you ask AI about anything, really. And please stay tuned. What stuck out for me personally was that they called AI a false god. I wanted to know, hey, what is it about the false god? And they said AI is a clever being. Why exactly did they call it a being? And I also wanted to know, how should we use AI then? And all these questions I asked this morning. I called back the Mantis over here, and I will release this part 2 next week. So if you're interested in AI in general, if you know anyone who's interested, just refer them to my channel, please. Hit like, hit subscribe. I know this is an ongoing record for every creator, but it does help us being recognized by the algorithm. So please help and support a small channel. I see you next week. If you have any questions or just want to share your opinion, please write in the little section below the video and let us know how you think about it.